Yo, 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 yo. What up, what up, what up? Shout out to everybody out there in the Michael Sports Universe, man. We back with another one. And I go by the name of Michael Gross. Big ups to that 501, that 317, Little Rock, Indianapolis, man. We are in the building. But, man, oh, man, oh, man. What a day in boxing, right? What a day in boxing. We got some breaking news, man. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. We have Dillian Whyte, who has been cleared of any wrongdoing by UKAD. Now, if you remember, Dillian Whyte was, um, well, it was a story. Let's start from the beginning. It was a story that came out on Boxing Scene that said Dillian Whyte had failed a drug test, and that the following day, I believe Eddie and him said that there was like some kind of hearing or meeting or something like that to clear Dillian Whyte of any wrongdoings. So they went on and proceeded with the fight. At the time, he was fighting Oscar Rivas, and they did not let the Oscar Rivas team know. And I think that right there is still going through little legal litigation. So they did not let the Oscar Rivas team know. Went on and went through with the fight. Came out a couple days later that he could have had possibly failed a drug test. So we've been waiting since July, something like that, for some kind of Southside Deucing, man. Right back at it again. You know how I do, big dog. I missed the one on the boxing voice today, so I had to come back and get my own little spiel on it. But yeah, man. So Dillian Whyte went on with his fight with Oscar Rivas. And at the time, you know what I'm saying, we didn't know anything. We didn't know that he was uh, going to be failing the drug test. Like, we had no idea. So the fight went on way. Then days later, we started getting these reports and rumors and things like that Dillian Whyte has possibly failed a drug test. Now, let me just stop right there before we get into any facts of a drug test. I'm of the firm belief and firm mindset that if somebody has any kind of controversy going on with something in their system, whether it's a medical a situation or a PED situation, let the opposing team know. That's all I ask. Let the opposing team know what is going on so they can make the decision that is best for them. Don't just go along with the fight. Don't just go ahead with the fight and not tell anybody anything. I don't agree with that. I think Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn was wrong in that aspect of it. You have to let the Oscar Rivas team know that Dillian Whyte had some kind of adverse findings in his urine, and that he went through a trial and went through a hearing and he was cleared. Just tell them right there. If everything is so in order, let Oscar Rivas and them know that right there. Don't hide. Don't let them find out after the fight that the man could possibly have something in his system. And I know they they said it wasn't that high. The levels weren't that high. We'll get into all that, and I'm gonna explain why the levels really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into what UKAD came out with, man. UKAD, yeah, UKAD them. I got the whole thing on the screen for y'all, so if y'all want to read it, man, you guys can read it right along with me. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and take this motherfucker out. The statement came from the United Kingdom anti-doping, all right? And the professional boxer Dillian Whyte, who can today jointly confirm that Mr. Whyte was charged with a anti-doping rules violation, ADRV, earlier this year, but that this charge has now been withdrawn. So he was charged with something, and now they withdrew it. The charge was brought after a sample provided by Mr. Whyte on 20th of June 2019 indicated the presence of two metabolites of a steroid. UKAD initiated an investigation with which Mr. Whyte cooperated fully. UKAD has accepted the explanation provided by Mr. Whyte in accordance with the UKAD anti-doping rules. The charge against Mr. White has been withdrawn. So they saying that he came up with an explanation, let them guys know, hey man, it wasn't that, it was this, it wasn't that, it was this, it wasn't this, it was that, all that kind of shit. But let's get into the details of the case. Let's get into the actual details of the case, because we all know the devil is in the details. And while we get in the details, man, I'm gonna take my sip of my motherfucking Corona right quick. Get Corona there. All right. Case details. In respect of Mr. White's drug testing results, the following points are relevant. So these points are the points that they considered to be noteworthy enough to put in the article. Now we don't know if they left some things out. I don't know. I have no idea if they left anything out. I'm just saying the following points are relevant. Okay. So what do they deem relevant and irrelevant? Like who are they to say that all the points of the case are not relevant? But I digress. Maybe I don't know shit about the anti-doping. I mean, maybe that's true, but I'm just saying. The first case detail is there is nothing in Mr. White's. What the fuck does that mean? Okay. There is nothing in Mr. White's longitudinal urinary profile to suggest that he has used steroids. I don't know why they fuck that they even use that long ass L word. Why didn't you say there's nothing in Mr. White's urinary history to prove? I mean, I don't fucking know. But anyway, they're saying there's nothing in his profile to suggest that he has used steroids. The levels of the metabolites found in Mr. White's June 20th, 2019 sample were extremely low. I thought you said he never used steroids though. Now, I mean, I know it's used and it's knowingly used and it's unknowingly used. But if you got a metabolite found in there that was a steroid metabolite, then the first case detail kind of goes out the window. Maybe I'm like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I could have it wrong. I could have it absolutely wrong. But based off the first statement and second statement, something ain't lining up. But all right, I digress. Here we go. Mr. White has provided a urine sample to VADA on the 17th June 2019, 3 days before June 20th. 2019 sample, which was tested by WADA accredited laboratory and which returned a negative result, including the metabolites in question. Now look, man, we all know that in this sport, man, once you reach to a certain level that you can cycle off of things, you can have things out of your system. You know exactly what you need to do to get things out of your system. And we seen that with Lance Armstrong. We seen that with Alex Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that Dillian Whyte did any of those things, but what I am saying is, just because you had a low trace amount or the levels wasn't that the levels wasn't that apparent, don't mean that you was necessarily in the right. It could mean that you were cycling off of whatever you were on. But I'm not saying that he was. I'm just playing devil's advocate and give you guys the best of both worlds. I know people out there are saying, yes, man, he got exonerated and he didn't do it. Yes. We told you he wasn't a cheater. And you got some guys on the other side that thinking like, man, maybe he really is a cheater. Maybe they found things in the system. Maybe he was cycling off. So I'm just trying to give you guys the best of both sides. Point number 4 from UKAD. Mr. White provided several other doping control samples to UKAD and VADA between June 20th and July 20th, 2019, the date of his fight with Oscar Rivas, all of which tested negative. So that means from the 20th of June to the 20th of July, he had nothing in his system. All of his stuff tested negative, which is good. I can't be mad about that. You know what I'm saying? But we it has to be more than just out of the fight. And I know UKAD does year-round testing over there. You know what I'm saying? It's a smaller pool, so easier to do. But in America, man, there's definitely something that needs to be done. with year-round testing. I'm a firm believer in testing, and also I'm a firm believer in HGH to help you recover from injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like if all you're doing is taking HGH to recover from an injury, I don't see anything wrong with that. Last detail of the case. In light of the above points, the trace amounts of metabolites found in the 20th of June sample are consistent with a isolated contamination event, and they are not suggestive of doping. So what they're saying is maybe he got a pre-workout, maybe it was food, maybe it was something that could have caused a contamination of whatever he was taking. So they laid the points out. I read you the points, and now it's up to you to decide on what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe. Because right now, I'm looking at Dillian Whyte. I still have my questions. I still have my thoughts and my thing like that. But if they're coming out and they're clearing them, and that's the only person that we can hold accountable, because Bada didn't say anything, and the WBC said, well, whatever UKAD ruling, we'll go with. So I guess we got to go with it. Let's see. They also go on to state, having rigorously scrutinized and investigated the detailed, factual, and scientific evidence provided by Mr. Whyte, UKAD is satisfied that the presence of the very low amounts of metabolites in its 20th of June 2019 sample was not caused by any fault, negligence, or wrongdoing on Mr. Whyte's part, and given these circumstances, could not have affected the fight between Mr. Whyte and Mr. Rivas. Whoa! Who are you to say that it couldn't have an effect on it? Because you don't even know. Like you only caught him on the 20th. You don't know what was going on before the 20th. So for you to say that it didn't have a effect on the fight, it's beyond me, bro. That's beyond me. But like I said, I don't know shit about doping. I don't know shit about anti-doping. So maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it just seems like that's a pretty broad statement for only a isolated amount of time. That's what I do know. Indeed, prior to that fight, an independent tribune considered a number of above factors before deciding to permit Mr. Whyte to participate. Following that preliminary ruling, UKAD continued its investigation, and Mr. Whyte provided further evidence in his defense, which has culminated in UKAD's decision to withdraw the change. That's what I don't like. An independent tribunal? Come on. Why we don't know the people who fucking put this shit on? Why don't I know anybody on that tribunal? Why don't I know anybody who was doing any kind of testing? Let me talk to those guys. Let me ask them a question. Let the media know what went into their decision making. Don't just let them hide behind the fucking Wizard of Oz motherfucking cover. God damn. And y'all wonder why fucking boxing is so fucked up because of shit like this. Motherfuckers who, look at this, man. We got a UK bitch in the building. Hold on. Here we go. Got a UK pussy in the building, man. Yeah, man. And I like Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's a good fighter, man. He's a damn good fighter. Good fighter, man. Good story, good background, all that, but Mr. Whyte acknowledges that based on the test results reported by UKAD relating to his 20th of June 2019 sample, UKAD acted in accordance with the United Kingdom anti-doping rules by issuing the initial charge and the conduct of its investigation. Pursuant to the terms of the United Kingdom National Anti-Doping Policy, UKAD must always act in the interest of justice and not solely for the purpose of obtaining determinations adverse to athletes. In the present case, UKAD considers that means that the appropriate course of action is for the charge against Mr. White to be withdrawn and so in accordance with this irrelevant anti-doping rule. Bitch ass nigga right here. The British Boxing Board of Control, having delegated responsibility for anti-doping matters to UKAD, has been informed of any resolution of these proceedings against Mr. White. Note, and we got notes, y'all. Note, the UKAD anti-doping rules place restrictions on reporting information relating to ongoing anti-doping proceedings, including the UKAD will not comment publicly on the specific facts of the pending case, except in response to a public comments attributed to an charged athlete or his or her representatives. So what they're trying to do is they trying to say, come out and say, whatever motherfucking news Hauser got on boxing scene, that ain't got shit to do with us. Read between the lines. That's what they're saying. Whatever news Hauser got, whatever article came out that said Dillian Whyte was a cheater, did not come from us. They're trying to separate themselves from that article and from any outlet who was reporting on that story. That's what I got from that statement. But we're going to finish it right now. For that reason, UKAD has not previously been able to comment publicly in respect of the charge brought against Mr. White. Since the charge against Mr. White has been withdrawn, neither UKAD nor Mr. White intended to make any further public comment in respect of this matter. In accordance with the confidentiality provisions of the United Kingdom anti-doping rules, any public comments made by anyone other than UKAD or Mr. White would not be made on the basis of an understanding of the full facts. Look, man. Producer, put that goddamn camera on me, producer. Let the nigga see me, man. Alright, here we go. Look, man, hey, he got to fight this weekend. He fighting the guy, Marius whackity whack. He probably go the distance, know what I'm saying? He can't use. Hey, man, he probably go the distance tomorrow night, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. All I know is the weigh-in looked kind of, you know, I don't know if it was due to certain rules, certain attention on him, or maybe he just got late notice for the fight, but I'm of the mindset, and I heard many fighters tell me this over the years. Mike, we know way before y'all know next time we fighting. That's all I'm saying. Man, Dillian Whyte got cleared. He's out of any kind of wrongdoing. He's gonna be put back at the WBC mandatory. And yeah, man, Dillian Whyte, man, out here making his presence felt. Yes, sir. Well, man, yep, that's been Mike on Sports, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it was, and y'all know what it's going to be, man. Follow me on IG at Gross1911. Follow me on Twitter at Gross2312. Follow me in goddamn me Russia at the motherfucking anti-doping headquarters. Or, man, just support the channel. Go ahead any way you can. You can support right there, man. PayPal, Cash App, whatever you guys want to do. Until next time, man, this is Mike on Sports, and I'm out this bitch. Yes, sir.